everybody. I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, joined with my friend and co-host Aiden. And, well, I mean, what, maybe like 10 minutes into us hopping into the studio to record, the Dodgers, they didn't even announce it. Ohtani himself announced that he was signed with the Dodgers. Then reports later came out that it was a $700 million contract, the largest contract in pro sports history, I believe. It's over 10 years. There are going to be deferrals, but that's not why we're here today. We're here because, well, we were going to talk about this anyways, but this becomes, I think, even more apparent. The Yankees, I think, and you know, I think their chances of getting Yamamoto are, you know, pretty good. I'm not saying it's, you know, 55 to 60%. Like, I thought it was like 70, 80% with Soto at one point. Don't feel that way about Yamamoto just because of the numbers of suitors. But following the Ohtani news, that takes off one big suitor, and then a suitor that would have been highly aggressive had they not gotten Ohtani. For Yankee fans not aware, Ohtani goes to the Dodgers, to the Blue Jays, and that's a nightmare situation. Not just because he's in your division, but because it means the Dodgers are all in on Yamamoto, and they will, you know, rage spend whatever it takes. They just dropped $700 million on Ohtani. Think of the Brink trucks they would have unloaded to get an opportunity at Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Now, trading Soto means you traded pitching. Michael King is no longer on the team. Guys like Brito and Vasquez, who helped the team depth-wise, are no longer on the team. And Drew Thorpe, who might have been somebody who could have come up mid-season, is not on the team anymore or in the organization. So they're going to need pitching. And why, you know, if you want to be this evil empire, and a lot of reports have suggested that's what the Yankees want to do, why not go for the best pitcher available? And Aiden, it's hard to argue this isn't the best pitcher available on the market. So, you know, given the circumstances, given now you have Soto, now that we know where Ohtani is, the market's probably going to start moving a little bit more. You know, how are you doing today, my friend? And, you know, what do you got on Yoshinobu Yamamoto?
Ryan, I'm doing okay. Got a little bit of an alert earlier that there was a tiger somewhere in New York. Just, sorry, that's random, but it turned out to be a false report anyway. But it was even crazier to get the report that Ohtani just signed the largest contract in sports history. I mean, we were talking it might be $600 million, and then they said, no, it's $700 million. But I'm doing pretty okay. I'm really excited about Yamamoto, Ryan. I think this is not something the Yankees just want. I think it's something they feel they need. They feel that they need Yamamoto on their roster next year and for the, you know, pretty foreseeable future, like in the next 5-10 years. But this guy's a pretty ridiculous pitcher. I mean, there's been so many talks about him, you know, projected to be a top 10, top 5 pitcher next year. I mean, I was just going through this article by Sports Info Solutions, just going over his pitch arsenal, his usage, and just some of the numbers are just so mind-boggling to me. His fastball is 95 miles per hour with a 17 inches of vertical break. He uses that fastball 40% of the time, so it's an electric pitch. He gets a lot of people out with it, obviously. A lot of strikeouts. His curveball is 77 miles per hour, so huge drop-off in speed from the fastball, but it has 19 inches of drop and 14 inches of sweep. It's a big, loopy, and pretty curveball. A lot of swing and miss stuff, 16% usage, a 60% ground ball rate on that curveball, by the way. And just going over his last pitch out of the 5, because his slider and I believe his changeup, he doesn't use that much, or his cutter, rather. His splitter, 90 miles per hour with 3 inches of vertical break. He uses that 26% of the time. But the opponent numbers against that splitter are, once again, mind-boggling. A 77% ground ball rate on that splitter with an opponent on base percentage of 178 and a 424 OPS. And those numbers get lower against right-handed hitters, too. So this guy is a ridiculous pitcher. Like, the projections are not overhyping this guy, it looks like. If you go through the research on this guy, if you read some articles on him, it's there. This guy is going to be a special pitcher in baseball, and I can absolutely see why the Yankees are so interested in bringing this guy to New York. Not just because he's going to be a star, but because he could be at the top of this rotation for the next 5, 8, 10 maybe years. I imagine his contract is going to have a ton of opt-outs, but you know, this guy's going to be a star, Ryan, and I could not be more excited if they add this guy to the roster because, I don't know, guys, it looks like the evil empire is back. If you're bringing in Soto and then you want to bring in Yamamoto too, Evil Empire might be back.
Yeah, and, one of the big things that I wanted to, get at here, and, I know if this is going to sound hyperbolic, this is going to sound a little bit crazy, this is going to sound like, an unhappy Yankee fan, and I'm not saying I'm not happy, I'm more than happy with Juan Soto, and if the Yankees end up with Juan Soto and, like, a solid starting pitcher and some bullpen, acquisitions, on top of, obviously, they got Christian and Verdugo, I don't want to discount the fact they also got 2 other outfielders, that's a good offseason, right? Like, that is an A offseason. You got Soto, I think they're already on pace. They already have a B+ offseason. No, honestly, they already have an A offseason. You got Soto. Like, I'm going to cut them as much slack as possible once you get Juan Soto. But if you can land Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I think they need it. I think that if you're looking at what this fan base wants, if you're looking at what this team wants, if you're looking at what this team currently needs, as of right now on December 9th, 2023, the New York Yankees need Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has a 1.44 ERA over his last 3 seasons in the MPB. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is a 3-time Cy Young winner. The Sour Moore Award is what they call it over there, but I'm going to refer to it as a Cy Young because that's what essentially it is. A 3-time Pacific League MVP and a 3-time pitching Triple Crown winner. Oh, and also over that time span, he's won an MPP championship. They went to the Japanese series back-to-back years. They won it in 2022, lost it this past season. He is a World Baseball Classic champion, and he's a gold medalist. Even though the Olympics were supposed to take place in 2020, because of COVID, they took place in 2021. So in a 3-year stretch, you get a gold medal, a World Baseball Classic title, a Japanese Series title, you win 3 MVPs, you win 3 Cy Youngs, you win 3 Triple Crowns. You are the best player, not best pitcher, the best player in all of Japan. And now you have an opportunity to sign with the most historic, with the winningest, with the most successful, with the most recognizable, with the biggest brand in all of baseball. Hell, arguably the biggest brand in all of North American sports, and you get to come in here as a 25-year-old superstar pitcher. You're joined by the 2023 unanimous AL Cy Young winner. You're joined by the guy who holds the American League record for home runs. You're joined by another 25-year-old superstar in Juan Soto, by the way, traded for and paid for by Hal Steinbrenner and co. And you're looking at Yankee Stadium, the allure of the Bronx. You win here, and, everybody says that, they say it with the Mets, the Red Sox, any other team. You win here and you're a legend. You win here and you get to join some of the greatest players to ever walk the face of the earth. You get your name etched with players like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Derek Jeter, Mickey Mantle, Alex Rodriguez, Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra. Like, those are the players you're going to be remembered with. Those are the players that you're going to be associated with for the rest of your career. If you come play for the New York Yankees, you are going to be box office. You go play for the Mets, you're going to be the second best pitcher in New York on the second best team in New York. You go play for the Red Sox, you'll be the ace of the Red Sox, but on a Red Sox team that's not going to be very good next year. You can't really go to the Dodgers. I mean, you could, but, like, I don't know if they're going to pay him, right? Like, I guess if you wanted to go to any team, you could go to the Dodgers, right? But if you're looking at the rest of the suitors, if you want to become the heir apparent to Garrett Cole, if you want to become the face of Japanese baseball in New York, if you want to help the New York Yankees, and if you want to etch your name next to the greatest players ever, you need to come play for the New York Yankees. And for Hal Steinbrenner and company, for them all, for the thought that, hey, what about Soto? What about extending Soto? Can you pay both of these guys? These are 25-year-old superstars in their prime. These two are the 2 most dynamic athletes we've seen at their age group in a very, very long time. These 2 players do not become available for either money or just trade pieces any offseason. You have an opportunity to secure your core and give Anthony Volpe, and give Austin Wells, and give Everson Pereira, and give Oswald Peraza, and give Spencer Jones, and give Jason Dominguez, and Chase Hampton, and Roderick Arias, any prospect you want to throw out there, anybody part of this core, you give them arguably the best left-handed hitter we've seen, over the last 5 or 6 years, and you give them the best player to come out of Japan pitching-wise in a very long time, arguably ever. So, Aiden, what do you think? Do you think that enough could, entice Yamamoto? And what would your offer be if you got to make an offer for Yamamoto?
I mean, like, I think this is a match made in heaven to me, honestly. Like, I don't think there could be a better pairing right now. And, like, I think the Yankees are the perfect destination for Yamamoto. He seems to be attracted by, I think Martino said, the allure and the iconography, the prestige of the New York Yankees. I saw this tweet earlier today on the Twitter timeline from Yankees fan Earl. Here's my pitch to Yamamoto on Monday if I'm the Yankees. Put him in a room with Judge, Soto, Cole, Matsui, Tanaka, $275 million and a number 18 pinstripes jersey and make him say no. I agree. I think maybe you bring in like another couple iconic players, like maybe just bring in Jeter just for, shits and giggles. But like, that sounds perfect to me. Just get this guy in a room with Judge, Soto, and Cole. That's your core of players that he'd be joining for the next however many years. And then you're bringing in Tanaka to the meeting too, which, word on the street is like this could very well be happening. You bring Tanaka into the room. That's not just an iconic Yankees pitcher, an iconic Japanese pitcher that pitched for the Yankees, but Tanaka, I believe, has been Yamamoto's mentor in the NPB, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen pictures of them together on their Instagram. And then you bring in Hideki Matsui too. Godzilla, man. He is an absolute icon, idol in Japan. He's, I'm not going to put him up there with Babe Ruth, but he's at that level of icon in Japan. So I feel like the Yankees have an edge here, and reports have come out that they feel the same way. They feel that they're way ahead of the pack in this market. So, I agree with this offer too. I think 700 or not. What am I talking? Ohtani's on my mind still. I think $275 million is a pretty good offer for Yamamoto. There's been some rumors floating around that a $300 million contract could maybe be on the table. I'm not sure, how true that is, because that does sound a little, out there for a guy who's never pitched an inning at the MLB level. But there's been a lot of questions, Ryan, about, listen, can the Yankees even afford this? Like, are they even going to be willing to pay not just Yamamoto and Soto this year, but would they do it for, next year and the rest of the future? Well, here's the thing. The Yankees have a lot of money coming off of the books next year. Anthony Rizzo's coming off the books. That's $17 million. Glaber's coming off the books. That's $10 million. Verdugo will be coming off the books. That's about 6.3. Holmes, 3.3. Canely, 5.8. Jonathan Loaiza, 2.3 million. Grisham, 3.2 million. That's a total of $47.9 million. Shout out Papa Glaber 25 on Twitter for putting all this information together. That's $47.9 million. That's basically, I think that's about what Soto and Yamamoto would cost combined next year. Soto is currently going to make about $30 million. I imagine his value is going to go up to about, $45 million. So maybe it doesn't add up to what Yamamoto and Soto would cost. I just was doing the math in my head. But it's, this is something the Yankees can afford. And, I don't think this really puts them too deep into the $300 million range. Like, obviously, it puts them over a $300 million payroll. But, we're looking at maybe $350 million payroll. It's not, anything crazy. It's not what Cohen has been spending. So I don't think they would really be reaching that upper threshold. So I absolutely think this is something the Yankees can do. This is a almost perfect pairing. This is a guy we know the Yankees really want. We know Cashman and Hal are head over heels for him. So Ryan, I'm really excited to hear how this, meeting goes on Monday. If we do hear anything, I'm really excited for this guy to sign in the next couple weeks. And I will have chills down my spine if there's a press conference with Soto and Yamamoto, because that would just be so perfect for what the Yankees needed this offseason after a terrible 2023.
Yeah. I mean, look, as you mentioned with the 2023 season, I'm not going to sit here and say the Yankee fan base, our fan base, is entitled to running $300+ million payrolls. But what I will say is that, the financial commitment that needs to be made to attend games regularly demands the highest payrolls in Major League Baseball every single year. And look, the Yankees last season were the second highest payroll in baseball. I cannot sit here and question the financial commitment last year. But what we can sit here and say is that, in terms of giving out long contracts, we can question that financial commitment because it has not been there to the extent it needs to be. And look, will Yoshinobu Yamamoto is he guaranteed to be a Yankee? No, right? Like I want to sit here and reiterate the fact it's more of like a 33% or like a 40% or like a, in that, so like 25 to, let's say 25 to 40% range, because the Mets are going to be heavily interested and they're going to want to spend a lot of money on Yoshinobu Yamamoto if they can. Looking at the Boston Red Sox, they really need an ace, and he would obviously check off all their boxes. I don't know if the Blue Jays are going to pivot to Yamamoto. I know that Passan mentioned that they're a team that could be interested. Potentially that's a competition you have to face too, but the Blue Jays could kind of use offense right now, so we'll have to wait and see there. My point more so is the New York Yankees have to have two things that they've got left to do, I think, in my vision. And that's secure Yoshinobu Yamamoto and then do everything you're in your power to extend Juan Soto. Because if these two guys are long-term pieces of this team's going to win a lot of games for a very long time. And we're not going to have to sit here and hear about how the Yankees are going to fall off and they're going to rebuild, they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Like, they don't rebuild. We don't rebuild. We don't tear it down. We reload. That is the New York Yankee way. That is the way it should be. That's the way it always should be. One big thing that I think people kind of overlook in the Soto deal is that every single member of like that stacked Florida Complex League team is still here, alongside 4 of the other 5 top prospects in the organization and 9 of the 10 top prospects in the organization. That farm is still loaded, right? Like, that farm is still absolutely stacked to the brim with some pretty good talent, right? Is there that like groundbreaking Jackson Holiday type prospect? No. But is there just a lot of pretty good prospects that should be projected major leaguers? Absolutely. So, the big thing for me here is that the Yankees are going to have the cost-controlled talent internally. And again, like, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, if you would like to become, one of the most historic and iconic players to ever play this game, it happens with the New York Yankees, right? Like, it doesn't happen anywhere else. I'm sorry. It happens here. That's where it happens. It happens here, right? Like, I promise you that you will you win a Cy Young or something like that, and the Yankees win a World Series in your tenure, you'll never have to worry about your legacy ever again. I mean, look at Hideki Matsui's legacy with the Yankees. The guy wasn't he wasn't an MVP candidate. He wasn't one of the 5 or 6 best players in the world. Was he one of the 5 or 6 best players of this position during his prime? Yeah, probably, right? But this wasn't like, he didn't come over to the United States and become the greatest player of all time. He came over to the United States and became a pretty good player after, as you mentioned, he was, one of the best players in all of Japan. Yamamoto has the chance to become what Michael Marino came on this podcast and said a top 5 pitcher in the game, right? Like, Michael Marino came on here and said that there was a team that had a projection model that put him in their top 5. Put that next to Garrett Cole. I mean, Aiden, could you imagine? And let's say Rodon pitches better next year, and Cortez looks better next year, and Schmidt has learned something from his first full year starting. Schmidt, Rodon, Cole, and Yamamoto are here for years to come, and the Yankees are a pitching factory. The Yankees will just find guys, whether it's Chase Hampton, whether it's Will Warren, whether it's Brock Selvage, whether it's Henry LaLane, and they'll find guys to make starts for them. Johnny Brito and Randy Vasquez were not supposed to become, centerpieces of a Juan Soto deal, and they did. Michael King was not supposed to become the headliner of a Soto deal, and he did. Drew Thorpe was just an under-velocity guy, like he didn't throw hard enough. Why did the Yankees take him in the second round? And he helped headline a deal for Juan Soto. So don't question this team's ability to develop pitching, but again, like Aiden, I think that from a cost-controlled standpoint, prospects play into this, and Cashman actually did talk about that, like how it all kind of goes hand in hand, right? So do you believe that the Yankees having a strong farm system is going to allow them to be a lot more aggressive financially? Not just a little bit. This is a big financial investment. Like, we're talking $250 million. You said 275. Like, that is a lot of money. So how important is that going to be going forward?
Well, yeah, Ryan, because listen, like, if you're making big financial commitments, which, the Yankees have been over the past, they're always making big financial commitments, and there's a lot of, mad fans about how bad some of these contracts look right now, and that's perfectly understandable. I, for one, I'm not the biggest fan of the Rodon contract right now, obviously. Not the biggest fan of the LeMahieu contract. Stanton contract doesn't look great, but if you have a prospect, pipeline, basically, if you have the pitching development like the Yankees do, where you're constantly developing pitching prospects every single year, if you're, Michael King was starting games at the end of last season just cause the Yankees were just like, hey, let's just experiment with this and see how it turns out. And it went swimmingly. It went amazing. By the end of September, we watched Michael King strike out 14 guys in like 6 or 7 innings. That's incredible. Or maybe it was 8 innings. I can't really remember.
It was 7.
But it was 7. Yes. Like, guys, like Ryan said, Johnny Brito and Randy Vasquez, most people didn't hear of them until they came up last year. And they're part of a Juan Soto deal. That's how great the Yankees are at developing pitching. So when these contracts go bad and you really can't like rely on some of these players anymore, and this is an if, this is just an if you can't rely on them anymore, you have prospects that you're developing and that can be a huge part of your future. I mean, just look at Anthony Volpe. He's going to be a huge part of this team's future. Jason Dominguez is going to be a huge part of the future. I myself, I think you too, Ryan, could see Austin Wells being a huge part of this team's future. I honestly believe that, Will Warren is going to be a pretty solid MLB pitcher. I think the same of Chase Hampton. And I have the utmost confidence in the Yankees continuing to develop these prospects. And that's what, having this type of development is what allows them to go out and say, hey, let's go hand this Japanese pitcher who's never pitched in the MLB, let's go hand him a huge contract that's probably paying him upwards of $28 million a year. That's why developing prospects is so important. And now you can get a guy who's had, an amazing past 3 seasons in Japan. I mean, I'm looking at his numbers right now. A sub-2 ERA over the past 3 seasons. 193 innings pitched, 193 innings pitched, 164 innings pitched. 200 strikeout seasons in that span. This guy, he's the real deal. And the Yankees are in a position right now where they can go out and just say, screw it. Let's sign this guy. So, Ryan, I am so excited. I don't think the Yankees have the best chance in the world. I mean, I think they have good chances. But, there are other bidders on this guy. Like you said, the Mets really want him. And I can see why. It is a need for the Mets. Same with the Red Sox. But I don't know. There's been a lot of smoke. And it sounds like Yamamoto is very, very attracted to the Yankees. I could honestly, I wouldn't put it past the Mets signing him. But I also wouldn't put it past Yamamoto using the Mets as maybe a bit of leverage to get his desired team to up their offer. So Ryan, that's what I got. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see the trail of news that drips out for the Yamamoto sweepstakes.
Yeah, the big thing for me is that, as you mentioned, the Yankees are going to have to bid against some of the best markets in baseball in terms of financials, right? The New York Mets are a financial powerhouse now at Steve Cohen. And this is the first New York bidding war we've seen, right? Like, there's never been a New York bidding war, ever. We've never seen the Yankees and Mets go after, not that there's never been one, but the Steve Cohen era, it's a little bit different, right? That is a guy who's, like, the Wilpons were never serious competition for the Yankees, and I think every Met fan, listening to this, if they are listening to this, would say, absolutely, there's no shot you can compare the Wilpons to Cohen. And Cohen's commitment to winning, Cohen's commitment to trying to put a winning product on the field, that is an owner who wants to win baseball games. You're not going to just be able to say, hey, we're the Yankees, here's money, come to the New York Yankees, right? Like, you're going to have to make the best offer, you're going to have to make the most competitive offer, and he's not going to sign Monday, right? Like, he's not going to sign Monday. That's not going to happen. He's going to want to meet with other teams, whatever it may be. Probably go through this whole process, but, again, the New York Yankees, sit down with Yamamoto, as you mentioned, present him that offer, and just, the allure is, the interesting allure is there. Yamamoto wants to pitch in the bright lights of somewhere, right? And, again, all I have to say for Yamamoto is, do you want to pitch in the brightest lights of your city, or do you want to pitch in the second brightest lights of your city, right? Like, I don't mean to be the arrogant Yankee fan here, but it is the truth. You want to pitch, do you want to be that guy, or do you want to be, yeah, he's cool, but the Yankees have Judge and Soto. Like, is that what you want to be? Like, I know people are like, well, the Yankees, here's the Mets pitch, right? The Mets, they didn't get Soto. The Yankees are focused on Soto. They're not focusing on Yamamoto. Would you like to play with a star or stars, plural, right? Like, do you want to play with a really good pitcher or the AL Cy Young winner? Do you want to play with a pretty good position player or the best right-handed hitter in baseball and arguably the best left-handed hitter in baseball, right? I will say Alvarez and Ohtani have pretty good case to be better hitters, but like my point is, do you want to play with the guy, like the top guy? Do you want to play with the top marker? Do you want to play with the most recognizable brand? Because that's what you get in New York. And again, I'm not going to be like, oh, Yamamoto just went for the money if he goes and signs with the Mets and it's more money, right? Like at that point, like the Yankees didn't offer the most money. I can't blame him for that, right? Like I'm not going to sit here and say, Yamamoto should just sign with the Yankees because we're the biggest brand. That's just what I think helps with the allure part of it. He wants to play for a historic team. There is no more historic team than the Yankees. But the Yankees have made themselves very interested, but you have to put money where your mouth is. And again, I know this, I sound like an arrogant Yankee fan, and I don't really care. This is the type of arrogance that Yankee fans have always had, right? This is the type of arrogance we've been accustomed to. Whether it's our parents or their parents or whatever it may be, that is what the Yankee experience is. And if Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman want this to be the mecca of baseball, I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine, as you mentioned, could you imagine a press conference where it's Juan Soto sitting on one side of the table, Yoshinobu Yamamoto sitting on the other side of the table, Scott Boras, unfortunately, will also be there. But look, you have the best left fielder in baseball, the best international pitcher in baseball, and the best agent in baseball. So, hey, it's not bad, right? But yeah, no, I mean, could you imagine a presser like that? Like, I just want Yankee fans to imagine that. It's Soto, it's Yamamoto, it's Judge, the captain there, because of course he is. Boone is there, Cashman's there, Hal is there, and he opens the press conference by saying, we would like to welcome, whether it's Yamamoto to the stage or Soto to the stage. I mean, good Lord, man. We want star power. We want it in this city, and we want it in the Bronx. And Yamamoto, you want that action, bro. You want that hype. You want that media around you. You want every single pitch you throw to be box office. You want every single game you play in to be box office. And I know wins don't matter towards evaluation, but as a pitcher, you want to rack up wins, don't you? You want to win 200 games, don't you? That's going to happen in the Bronx. That's not going to happen on some B-tier team. You want to go play for two teams to finish below 500? Fine, go do that. Or you could go play for a team that's going to go out and win 95 to 100 games next year. You want to go fight for the pennant? That's here. You want to go fight for draft picks? That's in Queens. That's in Boston. You want to go get slot money, right? Like, go there, right? But you want to win, which is what Yamamoto wants to do because he is that guy. It's in New York. I know I'm going to get comments. The Red Sox won a World Series in 2018. The Yankees haven't. Do I care? No, right? Because guess what? Winningest franchise ever, and I haven't. Last time I checked, I can check the standings, but did we finish in last place the last 2 years, Aiden? You want to clarify? No, we have not. And if I'm not mistaken, does 2018 have anything to do with 2023? Because the best player on that 2018 team, he's in LA, right? Like the starting right fielder of that ball club, right? If I'm not mistaken, that's the franchise you want to sign with Yamamoto. You want to sign with the franchise that traded away their best player, the one who gave him $360 million. You want to sign with the team that had to. You want to sign with the team that really, they signed 2 40-year-old pitchers, and they had to trade both of them because they weren't good enough. Not the pitchers and the team, quite honestly. Or do you want to come to the Yankees, right? Like, it's simple, right? Like, 5th place team, 4th place team, and then, I know the Yankees also finished in 4th, but guess what? I don't care because we're going to be better than all those teams next year. And you're not going to, do you want to sign with the Blue Jays? I mean, really? You want to sign with the team that hasn't won a playoff game since the Obama administration? You can't sign with the Dodgers, probably. Like, who else? The Cardinals? Like, you're not signing with the Cardinals. What, he's going to show up with, like, $150 million in the Cardinal way. That's not going to happen. You want to sign with the Cubs? Sure. I mean, you can sign with the Cubs. They haven't been good in about, 3-4 years. Last time they were good, or last time they got a playoff win, I was in middle school. So, like, I'm in college now. I'm a sophomore. So, again, like, Aiden, I don't know if you have anything you would like to add on, but Yamamoto, this is where winning happens, baby.
Yeah, this is where winning happens, Ryan. Just, like, thinking about that press conference, man. Just tears would be streaming from my eyes as a Yankees fan. It would be 2009 or it was the 2008 offseason all over again. And, I was a bit too young to remember that. So this would be my version. And I really want to see this happen. That press conference around Christmas time, what a perfect gift under the tree for Yankees fans, or Hanukkah present if that's what you celebrate, or whatever you celebrate around this holiday season. This would be a fantastic holiday gift from the New York Yankees. But Ryan, that's what I got. I hope Yamamoto wants to be big time, because if he wants to be big time, there's one place for him to go, and that's the New York Yankees. The Yankees historically have won games. The Mets, Okay, sure. Maybe they'll pay you a couple extra more $1 million a year. They haven't won a World Series since the Reagan administration. Okay? It's like 48 years ago now or something, 86. That's if I'm doing 47 years ago, I believe. That's a long
Believe
time.
your math is correct.
You're nearing up on 50 years now. That's half a century. The Mets haven't won a World Series in half a century. Yankees haven't done it since 2009, which is a long time for them. But at least, they're in the century, and they're always trying to win. They've historically always won. They're the most recognizable brand in sports. They are a global brand. Ryan, you go out of the country, you see a lot of Yankees hats. I haven't seen a Mets hat out there. So, yep, that's what I got. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I hope you're a Yankee, my friend, because it would be perfect.
Yeah, look, to Hal, go spend that money. We will help you pay it back. I will throw as much, whatever we have to do, man. We will help. But seriously, I mean, we will help. I have like $10 on me right now. Like, I don't know about we, bud, but Hal, make the financial commitment, because I know that we know that I can speak for the fan base when I say we will greatly appreciate it and we will greatly support this team. And then for Yoshinobu Yamamoto, again, winning happens here, baby. Winning happens here. It happened. Like, look, the list of teams I think that were released by Marino, that he said he doesn't know if the Dodgers' interest will change now they have Ohtani, but it's Mets, Yankees, Cubs, Giants, Dodgers. Red Sox are unclear how involved they will be. But yeah, look, there's one team here. There's one team here that has won a playoff series, I believe, in the last 4 years, and that's us. Outside the Dodgers, obviously. So come play for us. Simple. Come play for us. Juan Soto's here.
The Red Sox too.
Sign with the team. Yeah, go play here. Come play here. I have it happen here. That's all I gotta say. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees. As my co-host Aiden, you guys can check out our personal Twitter accounts. They're above our head. We have a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I believe I mentioned the Twitter page, but yeah, we have a Twitter as well. And all 4 of those are popping right now. Of course, this YouTube channel is as well. So help us out a lot by subscribing or following. We're growing at a rapid pace, and we want to hit 10,000 subscribers on the YouTube rather shortly, hopefully. But again, thank you guys for supporting us so much, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.